Welcome to Morning Flow. Leo Bray coming to you on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center, coming from my home studio today, not from Urban Yoga. Visit us online at urbanyoga.org or at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center on Facebook, where you can check out our schedule of daily Zoom classes and visit the tip jar where you can make contributions to support our efforts on Zoom, which become our offerings on YouTube. And we have classes on Zoom every day of the week and 4 times a week in person here in Palm Springs, Thursday through Sunday mornings. So check out those details as well. We'll start out in a reclined posture today. You can bring the soles of your feet together and lie down on your back. And if it's easier for you to lie on your back and then bring your feet together, you can do that. If you have some of these yoga blocks, you might use those after you're lying down to support your legs like that. And if it doesn't feel good to have your feet together and your knees splayed, you could just rest the soles of your feet on the mat with your knees sort of leaning in towards each other. Do that instead. It's a more passive posture for the lower body. Your hands might rest on the floor or rest on your body as you like, maybe on your legs, or a hand to your belly to feel the movement of your breathing, a hand to your heart to feel your heartbeat, whatever you like. Find your comfortable starting posture. Bring your attention to your breathing. And just by shifting your attention, your breath will, on its own, get slower, get deeper. It doesn't take direction or any special tricks. Just observing your breath changes it. Feel your contact with the floor, with your blocks if you're using the blocks. Just feel your body accepting the support beneath it. Focusing on contact with the support can help your body to relax. Grounding thoughts, thoughts of being held, being supported. Observing the movements of your breathing and the way that those movements feel in your body, the way the movements of your breath change your contact with the floor, change how that support beneath you feels. Scan your body to take in anything that's going on. Notice whatever there is to notice. Especially noting anything that doesn't feel so good, so that you can keep it in mind as we practice and take care of yourself by skipping or modifying anything that you need to during our practice.
Hello.
Welcome. Whoop.
Hi.
Hi, I'm going to mute you. Thanks for joining us. Your video went off. I don't know if you meant to do that. We're just lying still and tuning into our breathing, scanning our bodies, grounding, letting everything slow down. So by noting what's going on in your body, you can set reminders for yourself to just stay aware of any stiffness or soreness going on in your body. What registers here in stillness is something that is likely to come up when we start to move around. And just know that you're welcome to skip or modify any part of the practice I'll be offering to accommodate what's going on in your body. When we find resistance in the body, it's okay to gently probe the resistance and see if we can open up a little more, loosen up a little more. But we want to heed any pain as an important signal. So don't try to push through pain. Back away from the pain. If there's some resistance, some tightness, you can explore that and maybe help reduce it. But if something hurts, do a little less than whatever it is that brought the pain up. And at any point, you're welcome to do a little less, or a lot less. You're welcome to do a little more or a lot more. And if we each listen to our own bodies and exercise this freedom of choice, we can each find the practice that's best for us. So these are our shared intentions: listening to a body, taking care of ourselves, exercising choice. And maybe you're in the habit of setting your own personal intention for practice, something specific to you. Maybe you had it in mind before you came to class today, or maybe something just occurred to you as I'm saying that. If you want to set any other intention, let them come together in your mind and sink in for the next few breaths. Before we start to move out of this position, let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth with a sighing sound. If your eyes are still closed, you can let them open up. If you're lying as I am with your feet together and your knees splayed, let your arms help your legs come out of this position. It can be easy to strain something here. Bring your hands to the outsides of your legs, like closing a book. Push your knees towards each other. Let the soles of your feet land on the mat. And if you were using blocks like this, move the blocks well out of the way, because we're going to do a twist. If you leave the blocks there, they'll be in the way of the twist. Reach your arms to the sides. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Set up for an energizing spinal twist. Let your legs fall to the left. Turn your head to the right and try to keep your shoulders grounded. Just let your breath wring you out. It's not important how far your legs go. More important to keep your shoulders grounded, and your legs will go where they go. Maybe they don't touch the floor. Maybe they drift a little closer with each exhale, and maybe they do touch down. Nice and slowly, come back to center and switch your legs up. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Let your legs fall to the right, then turn your head to the left. Slowly come back to center and uncross your legs. Draw your knees towards your chest, hug your knees. And take some simple but big movements, full body stretches like this. Inhale, Extend your arms and legs out. Reach your hands away from your feet. Exhale, curl up in a ball, hug your knees for a moment. And just take a few more breaths like that. Use the whole inhale to open up. Use the whole exhale to curl up. At the end of your next exhale, hug your knees, rock side to side, or roll in circles. Massage your back against the floor. Now we're going to start to sit up. So 2 ways to do that. Gentler way would be to tip onto one hip, press your hand to the floor, and lift yourself up. Or if you like, you might hug your knees and rock front to back. Roll your spine along the floor, along your mat, if you're on the mat. Maybe play with balancing at the top of the roll. Get a little core engagement in. Maybe it just feels nice to massage your back like that, but not for everyone. So you could just tip to one side, sit up that way. We'll all meet sitting up eventually. You don't have to sit just like this. Sit so that you're comfortable. Shifting my scenery around. There are things between me and the camera. Find your comfortable seat. You could also kneel if that's better for you. Feel into the ground. Whatever's touching the ground, however you're sitting. Feel the grounding support. Think about the length of your spine. Think of the crown of your head reaching up towards the ceiling. So it'll help you sit up tall. We don't want to be stiff or rigid, like that. Tall without being stiff, without being rigid. We can sit up tall and yet be relaxed. Let your chin fall towards your chest. We'll make some circles with our head. Open up the neck. Nice and slowly roll your left ear towards your shoulder. Let your head tip back. Roll your right ear towards your right shoulder. Really take your time. Be mindful of letting the head do the movement. Sometimes you think roll ear towards shoulder and the shoulder starts to lift. Sometimes I'll let my hands rest on the ground instead of on my legs to make sure that my arms and shoulders are disengaged. If I'm lifting my shoulder towards my ear, that's a different effect than rolling my ear towards my shoulder. And if you find a spot that's tight, you might pause at the tight spot and sort of go back and forth and maybe help it get a little less tight. When you finish the next circle, take a few going the other way. And it's funny, the same movement in one direction can feel very different than it did in the other direction. Maybe you find a tight spot going this way that wasn't evident when you were going the other way. Maybe the tight spot you felt going the other way feels better going this way. When you finish your next circle, lift your chin and look forward again. Bring your hands out to the sides. Rest just your fingertips on the floor so you stay long in the spine. Inhale, reach your right arm up alongside your ear like you want to tap the ceiling. Exhale, reach to your left, lean into your left hand, feel for length from your right hip all the way up through your right fingertips. So keep your hand and your arm engaged. Keep reaching up for something here. On an inhale, bring yourself upright again. As you exhale, we'll come into a twist. Bring your right hand to the floor behind you. Bring your left hand over to your right leg. Inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. Press into the right hand. Exhale, invite your body to twist some more. See about working your way up from the waist. So maybe the ribs move over on that exhale. Maybe the next exhale, your shoulder moves a little. Maybe eventually you turn your head, but find out how much twist is enough. It's not a contest to see who can go the furthest. See what your body wants. Maybe just a little feels great. Maybe more feels better, but maybe not. Enough might be way less than the furthest you can do. Let yourself unwind. Come back to center. As you inhale, lift your left arm. As you exhale, reach to your right. Just let your head be wherever your neck is comfortable. Sometimes we play this game like, where am I supposed to be looking when I do this? There's no one answer for that. Just let your neck be comfortable. Inhaling, come upright. Exhaling, come into your twist. Left hand goes behind, right hand comes across. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, explore twisting some more. Let yourself unwind and come back to center. Rest your hands on your knees. Inhale, bring your heart forward, let your head tip back. Exhale, draw your heart back, let your head tip forward. And just follow your breath, the pace of your breath, keep going. So this is like the cow pose and cat pose that we do when we're up on our hands and knees. Same kind of movement. So your spine moves in 6 basic directions, and by deliberately exploring each, you keep the spine healthy. So twisting left and right, that's 1 and 2. Doesn't matter the order, it's just the order I'm naming them. The side bends, that was 3 and 4. Cows 5, cat 6. And your spine really is, it's the center of your skeleton. If your spine is healthy, it helps everything else. It's all connected. After your next exhale, sit up tall again. We'll work on opening the feet and the hips a bit. So grab one leg, doesn't matter which one, I'm just grabbing the one in front. And then take the opposite hand and slide your fingers in between all of your toes, which is hard when your hands are bigger. Getting that pinky finger in next to the pinky toe. Let the ankle be limp and let your hand slowly roll your foot around. Help open your ankle. Change direction. Sometimes just going slower is the tough part. Sometimes the body makes sounds. I'm told that click is tendonitis. It doesn't hurt when it does that. Sometimes people are alarmed when they hear these sounds come out of my joints. Release your toes. Use both hands to cradle your leg. So I like to go like this, but maybe that grip doesn't work for you. Whatever grip works for you. Let your arms take the weight of your leg so your leg is hanging limp in the hip socket. And make some circles with your leg. Like rocking a baby, a kitten, a puppy. Gentle, letting the circles maybe grow bigger on their own. So see how much your leg wants to move. Just letting it drift, not pushing. Kind of exploring how much openness is there now, and can bring in a little more. Change direction to go the other way. Let that leg down. Lift up the other one, let the foot hang limp. Get the fingers in between those toes. Make some nice slow circles for this ankle. Change direction at some point. Release your toes. Support your leg with both hands, both arms. Start those nice, easy circles. Rocking your femur in your hip socket. This is the biggest joint in your skeleton, the hip sockets. Change direction. And let your leg down. We'll explore a real simple forward fold. Just rest your hands in front of you and walk them forward as far as you can. It doesn't matter where that is. Just go out as far as you can and let your head drop. Let your neck disengage. Think of breathing into your lower back. Inhaling slowly, walk your hands back. Use your arms to press yourself upright again. And let's come up onto our hands and knees so you can tip towards one hip and plant your hands and unwind your legs. We sort of square things off. We call this table pose or box pose. Open your hands way up. Bring your shoulders above your wrists. Behind your wrists is okay too, so maybe it's not quite like a box. Listen to what your wrists are telling you. If it feels like too much to have your shoulders right above your wrists, you can have your shoulders behind your wrists like that. See what your wrists want to do. Your hips above your knees. That generally doesn't cause any joint issue there. If it bothers you to have weight on your knees, you can fold the edge of your mat up for extra padding, or maybe put a folded blanket under your knees. Sometimes people like extra padding on their knees. So I'm going to take the same movements we were doing sitting up for cow pose and cat pose. Inhale, bring your heart forward. Let your head and tailbone go up. Exhale, bring your heart up. Let your head and tailbone come down. And just take a few more breaths like that at your pace. It's a very different movement because you're not grounded in the same place. We were grounded in our seat, so the lower spine maybe didn't move as much in the seated version as it does now. Now the tailbone can really go up and down as the heart goes down and up. As the heart moves up and down, the head and tailbone want to do the opposite. After your next exhale, come back to table. Curl your toes under. Press into your feet, lift your knees. Press into your hands and lift your tailbone. Find your first downward facing dog. This big upside down V shape, and pedal your feet up and down. Walk your dog, we sometimes call this. Feeling your legs lengthen, all the muscles in the backs of the legs. Heels getting closer to the floor. Eventually find some stillness in downward facing dog for a couple breaths. Nod your head. Shake your head. Inhale, bend your knees, look up towards your hands, and exhale, step your feet to meet your hands, coming to forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, roll all the way up, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. And let your hands hang at your sides. Raise your right shoulder towards your ear. Shift it back and let it down. And then your left shoulder up and back and down. Inhale, reach out toward the walls. Exhale, reach for your shoulder blades and hug yourself, or if you like, you can take equal arms here, intertwine your arms, press your palms together, or backs of your hands if you can't quite do palms. If you're in eagle, then move your elbows and your hands up and forward. Inhale to open up again. And as you exhale, cross your arms the opposite way. Reach for your shoulder blades or take your eagle. Inhale to open up. Exhale to let your arms come down. Inhale your arms out and up overhead. Interlace your fingers, flip your palms towards the ceiling, and look up at your hands and lift up your heart. Maybe your hips drift forward if your back feels okay with that. Curve as much as you want. With an inhale, bring yourself upright. As you exhale, bend to the right. Feel for length through both arms. And I failed to mirror. I mixed up my right, my left, and my brain. I'm bending to my right, not to your right. Inhale to come up to center, and exhale, bend the other way. That's what we do when we mix up right and left. Stop saying right and left. Make sure everybody gets both sides. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, let your arms come down. I'm going to grab a little sip of my water. Do that whenever you need to. And we'll do some sun salutations. You can come to the front end of your mat. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to lift halfway up. Exhale to fold forward. Plant your hands and step back to a plank, 1 foot back, the other foot back. You can let your knees down if shorter plank serves you better. Let your hips come down in line with your knees and shoulders, or your ankles and shoulders. Think of that nice long shape like a plank of wood. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Keep your elbows in close as you come down. Press into your hands. Inhale, lift your head and chest as high as you want. Listen to your lower back. Heart opener can be low or high or somewhere in between. Exhale, rock back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale down. Plant your hands, step back to plank. We'll go a little more continuously on this one and the next one. Exhale, when you're ready, lower halfway, maybe all the way. Inhale, come forward, open your heart. Exhale, back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, come down. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale down. Step back to your plank. When you're ready, exhaling, lower. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale back and up. Now walk your hands back to your feet. Come to forward fold a different way. We'll set up for a chair pose. Let your knees stay soft and bouncy. Let your arms hang heavy like ropes. Let your arms swing front to back outside your legs. And let the weight of your arms pick up momentum so the swinging gets bigger and bigger. When you're ready, swing your arms up overhead, sit back to chair pose. Releasing in the front of your hips, in the back of your knees, in the front of your ankles. Arms reaching up, but shoulders relaxed down away from the ears a bit. Stay with your breath. Ground evenly in your feet. Inhale, slowly straighten your legs. Exhale, let your arms come down. Now let's play with chair pose a bit more with some variation. Big inhale. Exhale, reach up, sit back. Reach your hands in under your arms. Reach them back past your hips, palms down, and take a breath. Reach in under your arms, then out to the side. Take a breath. Reach in under your arms. Reach up again. Take a breath. Inhale, stand. Exhale, let your arms come down. Good. Let's play with some more variation now. I'll keep giving different views. It's sometimes helpful with the camera. Reach your arms straight out like this, parallel to the ground, like a zombie or a sleepwalker. And with your arms like that, Do the same thing with the lower body. Exhale, sit back towards your chair pose. Releasing down into the ground, staying with your breath. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, let your arms down. Let them rest for a breath or two. Now we'll do a more challenging variation. And I like to get a little silly in describing this because it's just fun. Yoga in heels. Reach your arms forward like this. So zombie in heels, sleepwalking in heels. Lift your heels. Come up on the balls of your feet. And your heels can be as tall or short as you want. And then can you sit back to chair with your heels raised? Now, if the answer is no, let your heels down. That's fine. But see what you can do. Maybe you let them down and lift them again. Very different engagement in the legs and the feet now. Makes it harder to talk. At least you don't have to talk. It's kind of fun balancing, wobbling, playing, exploring what the body can do. Now, if you can keep your heels up, inhale, straighten your legs. And then let your arms down, and then you fell, and then let your heels down. Shake your legs. I really could have tipped over backwards there. Take a sip of the water anytime. All right. We'll play now and let one leg do more of the work. Maybe one leg do all of the work. Some balancing. So you're welcome to step over by the wall or a piece of furniture for support in the balances. With your hands at your heart, set your eyes on something straight ahead that won't move. Help keep you steady. Shift your weight from one leg to the other. Feet on the ground. So legs are nice and warmed up. Hips are pretty open by now. We'll explore tree pose. When you're ready, bring the weight into your right leg. Let that knee stay soft and responsive. Lift your left knee. Maybe your thigh comes parallel to the floor. And like opening a door, bring the knee out to the side. The door is your hip. And then we're going to bring the left foot to the right leg. So it might be ball of the foot on the ground, heel on the ankle. It might be sole of the foot on the calf or on the thigh, just never on the knee. And this knee keeps tracking out to the side. Sometimes we'll use a hand to assist the foot to the thigh. It's better to stay on your calf than to press on your knee. It took me 2 years to get my foot to stay on my thigh. And it only happened after I stopped trying for about 6 months. And I went to demonstrating class one day, the fact that I couldn't keep my foot on my thigh, and it stayed there. And you can keep your hands at your heart, press them together for steadiness, or the branches of your tree can go anywhere you want. And maybe your tree is pretty still, or maybe there's breeze in your branches. You can find one position and aim at staying in it, or you can explore more movement. And anytime you can drop your foot and pick it up again. If your hands are elsewhere, bring them back to your heart and see how slowly you can come out. Pivot your knee forward and let your foot down. Shake that right leg and anything else that wants shake. Some of us can't resist a little dancing. When you're ready, bring your hands back to your heart. Reset your eyes, reset your feet. Shift back and forth. Reset your hips. And you can shift back and forth like that as many times as you want. When you feel ready to, bring the weight to your left leg. Remember not to lock the knee. Raise the right knee. Take your time. Open the gate of your hip. Bring your foot to your leg, whether that's Heel to the ankle, toes on the ground, sole of the foot on the calf or on the thigh. And do what you like with your arms. Let your branches grow into any shape. Sometimes it's fun to explore different shapes, explore binds. This bind feels great in my back, so I do this pretty much every day. And it's just something I picked up from a student that was teaching a small class in Cambridge one day, probably 3 years ago now. And the guy did this, and I went, oh, let me try that. So thank you, Neil. Hope you're still practicing. Make sure you're breathing, because all the trees need air. Sometimes when we start to stand on one leg through an excess of focus or something, we hold our breath, and it doesn't help. If your hands are elsewhere, bring them back by your heart. Pivot your knee forward and let your foot down and shake as needed. And let's have a seat. So first, let's sit with the legs extended forward and the feet flexed back towards you like that. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. And if your knees want to bend, they can bend. Just let them bend. No need to force the backs of your legs onto the floor and hyperextend anything. Remember, it's okay to probe against resistance, but back off from pain. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your leg and sit yourselves up. Let your arms help your legs open out. Walk your hands down your legs to wherever you can. So maybe it's the knees, the shins, maybe the ankles, maybe the feet, and just take a few breaths. Inhaling, walk your hands up the front of your legs and sit yourself up. Now let your arms help your legs nudge them in towards each other and bring the soles of your feet together as far away from your pelvis as they can be and still have the soles together. So there's this big space between your heels and your pelvis. If you can, walk your hands under your ankles and grab the floor. If that doesn't work, just reach over your ankles and grab the floor. Not everyone can thread their arms under their legs like that. Walk your hands forward either way, using traction in your arms to come into this deeper fold. And let your neck disengage, let your head drop. Breathe into the center of your lower back. Maybe your arms stay engaged and keep reaching forward, or maybe you let them disengage. Slowly start to scoot your hands back and press up from the floor. Press your torso upright. Keep the feet together. Now bring your heels in as close as you can to your pelvis. Interlace your fingers. Bring your hands over the tips of your toes. Hold your feet. Now wriggle on your seat. Bring the bones in your seat close to the ground and tilt your pelvis forward. One more fold. We'll go up before we go down. Inhale, lengthen up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, hinge at the hips. Think of your spine staying long as you come down at first. See how far down the long spine will go. Maybe your elbows press the insides of your legs, nudging the hips open. When that long spine's not lowering anymore, let your head lower and let your neck go. And breathe into your hips. Inhale, slowly sit yourself up. Now, like at the start of practice, let your arms help your legs out of this position. Bring your hands here. Push your knees towards center. Let your feet land. Get a little different view here. Plant your hands out here. Wiggle your feet further apart. And let your knees dance back and forth as much as they want. So maybe your knees tap the ground like this, and maybe they don't. It's like taking a tour of whatever space you have cleared in your hips. And we're going to lie down. Now, if you have your strap, bring it within reach. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use the sash off a bathrobe. You can use a bath towel. You can use a resistance band. Maybe you string a couple belts together. You're going to plant your feet, scoot towards your heels, and come onto your back. So before we play with the strap, we'll play with bridge pose. Bring your heels as close to your butt as you can. If you've got blocks and you want to, you could put a block between your knees on the middle position, like that. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift your hips up. If you want more heart opening here, wriggle your shoulder blades towards each other. Clasp your hands under you and extend your knuckles towards your heels, drawing your shoulder blades even closer together. Make sure your neck's relaxed and your head's just resting on the ground, and make sure you're breathing. If you're clasping your hands, unclasp them. Exhale, slowly lower down. And then at your own pace, try floating up and down 3 or 4 or 5 more times. Inhale to go up, and exhale to go down. Go as slow as you want, go as high as you want. Challenge yourself to the degree that feels right for you. And next time you land, let that be the last one. If you had a block between your knees, you can move that out of the way. I'm going to pivot this. Your knees toward your chest, holding one under your strap in each hand, run it under your feet. Well, there's a silly mess. I have a knot in my strap. That's what I get for not putting it away neatly after using it yesterday. a double knot in my strap. Okay, with the strap opened up, reaching your arms and legs up. So your legs, your strap, your arms are all long, but your body's still grounded. So feel that your sacrum is on the floor, your shoulder blades in the back of your head. Keep those points of contact with the floor. Point your toes up at the ceiling. Point your toes down towards your face. And let your feet relax. Slide your feet away from each other inside that strap. And when they go as far as they want to go, just take a couple breaths there. And then gently pull on both ends of the strap to help your feet slide back towards each other. And take your right foot out, press the back of your right leg down to the floor. Hold the strap with your right hand to reach your left arm to the side. And then use the strap in your arm to bring your leg over to the right and turn your head to the left. Keep your shoulders grounded. Now your sacrum lifts off the floor. Doesn't matter how far the leg goes. Stay grounded in your shoulders. See what happens over the next few breaths. Maybe the twist deepens. Maybe the outer hip releases some more. It can be helpful to engage in the leg that's on the floor. If you flex those right toes towards you and press out through that right heel like you want to step on the wall over there. Kind of helps steady the whole thing. Keeps that right side more evenly grounded. Nice and slowly come back to center. Now take the strap in your left hand and press your right hand down on the front of your right hip. Now we want to aim for not only keeping the right leg grounded, but keep the right butt cheek on the floor. Keep the right hip down. Let your limbs fall to the left. Now what can happen here is your pelvis may want to roll. If your pelvis rolls to the left, then the left hip doesn't open as much. If you keep the pelvis squared to the ground, you can get more opening in the hip. That's why we press down on the opposite hip as the limbs fall open to the left. I'm holding my right hip down, keeping my right cheek on the ground. Sometimes the leg touches down to the ground, sometimes it doesn't. Some folks find it unsettling to let the leg hang in the air. If that's you, you could put a yoga block or some other prop between the outside of your leg and the floor. But depending on what's going on in your hips, maybe your leg is nowhere near the floor. That's fine too. Just see what your body wants. There were many, many times when I first started practicing that I did this and my leg did not come down to the floor or anywhere close. And when we come out of this one, we want to go very slowly and gently. So really take your time to bring those limbs back to center. And we switch and do it again. We lift your right leg up, step your right foot into your strap. Take your left foot out, press your left leg down. Holding both parts of the strap in your left arm, reach your right arm to the side. And draw your leg to the left. Turn your head to the right. Flex the left toes towards you. Think of reaching out through your left heel to step on the wall. And try to keep your shoulders grounded. Slowly come back to center. Take the strap with your right hand. Press your left hand down on the front of your left hip bone. and let your limbs fall to the right. Very gently, bring it all back to center. Lift your left leg. Draw your knees towards your chest. Move your strap out of the way. Hug your knees. You can rock and roll on your back a bit to massage it against the floor. When you're ready, you can reach your feet up. Reach your hands up, take hold of your legs or your feet. Play with bending and straightening your arms and legs in happy baby pose for a minute or longer if you want. When you feel complete with inverting, you can make your way to Shavasana. Maybe you come to corpse pose. That's what Shavasana means. Legs extended, feet splayed apart, hands resting out at your sides. We also use the word Shavasana to describe or to name the state of quiet relaxation and integration that we come to at the end of practice. So if corpse pose isn't comfortable, just get comfortable in whatever posture works for you. Any position where you can be quietly still and breathe, letting your body absorb the benefits of your work. Perhaps focusing on your breath as a simple meditation, or coming back to an intention you had set for yourself and reflecting upon it, or just letting your mind go, letting it drift, giving it permission to wander. Your breathing will slow down on its own and get deeper. As it does so, your body will more and more accept the support of the ground once again. Relaxing a bit more with each exhale. Begin to find some even deeper breath. Slowly let your body move around bit by bit. allowing your movements to gradually grow bigger. Taking your time, moving mindfully. When you're ready for bigger movements, you can gently make your way back up to seated or kneeling position. If you like, bring your hands up by your heart. Thank you for sharing in practice today. The light within me sees and honors that same light within you. Namaste. Again, I'm Leo Bray on behalf of Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center. You can visit us on Facebook at Kristen Olson's Urban Yoga Center or on the web at urbanyoga.org. Stop by the tip jar, give as you can, and check out the class schedule where you can practice with us every day. Questions and feedback are always welcome, whether you're showing up in person with us outdoors, Thursday through Sunday, joining us on Zoom in real time, or checking us out later on YouTube. Questions and feedback are always helpful. Have a wonderful day.